Buenas a todos. Bueno, normalmente siempre hago los directos los viernes o los sábados. Bueno, las noches del viernes y del sábado, que en realidad son las noches del sábado y del domingo, antes de levantarse. Bueno, en realidad los directos los hago los sábados y los domingos, pero claro, muchos no consideran que el día empieza hasta que amanece. Pero mañana es fiesta. Así que puedo jugar esto y vamos a darle otra vueltecita que me quedé con las ganas. Como podéis ya ver, como podéis ver ya hemos avanzado bastante. Es más, tenemos bastantes cosas en el inventario. Denarios, una linterna, losa de piedra de con inscripción. Joder, anda que no tenemos. Y lo más importante, un arco dorado falso. Así que vamos a continuar.
Salve, friend. Mind telling me who you are and what you're doing with that bow on your back? Oh, you sound serious. I'm listening.
Esto es como se ve nuevo.
All right, let me see. Stop Fabia going in, but send the new arrival to the empty shrine. Understood.
Eso es. Ahora verlo más rápido.
I'll go, but once I'm done, I'll need you to tell me how you know all of this.
Joder, esto es facilísimo. Oye, me gusta bastante esta. De esto puedo... ¿No puedo usar esto? Bueno. Juraría que tengo el... Sí, el manillar de tirolina lo tengo. Entonces, ¿por qué no puedo usar esto de tirolina? ¿O no es una tirolina? Sí, no me deja usarla. Bien. Bueno. Pero me retrasa bastante. Y a ver un momento. ¿Qué más misiones tengo que hacer? Pistas la caja de Pandora. Joder, estas estatuas a veces dan yuyu. Joder, mira, aquí fue donde... Vale. Es que por aquí no he ido antes.
Salve again, friend. I went and did as you asked, and it worked.
Oye,
How is it possible that you've just arrived here and you already know everyone and exactly what's about to happen to them? You're toying with me, right? Wait, you're not kidding, are you? That's the only way you could have known. You're a bit like... Oh, what was his name? Sisyphus. Yeah, that's the one. Old King Sisyphus. Sisyphus was a Greek king a long time ago. For daring to think he could outsmart the gods, he was given a terrible punishment. He was forced to push a great boulder up to the top of a hill. Only, just as it reached the top, it would roll all the way back down.
ah, vale.
Forcing him to start over and over and over again for all eternity.
Pues espero no terminar como es.
Actually, now that I think about it, there are a bunch of old stories about the gods punishing people by making them do the same futile task over and over. Tantalus was made to grasp at fruit on a tree he could never quite reach. The Pleiades had to keep fetching water in a sieve. Oh, and Ixion was strapped to a wheel going round and round forever. But on the bright side, at least you're not stuck in the underworld like they all were. Anyway, I don't know which god you managed to upset to get yourself into this position, friend, but you seem all right to me. So, I'll tell you what. I'll keep doing whatever I can to help you. You just focus on finding a way to break the cycle you're in.
Mira, gracias Galerio, eres un buen hombre, Galerio.
That's kind of you to say.
Este tío me cae muy bien.
I'm going to keep your secret. Although, it's not as if I'll remember this next time we talk anyway, right? Oh, and if our conversations ever start to annoy you, just tell me you're busy. I know when I'm not wanted. May fortune smile on you, friend.
A ver,
Salve again, my Sisyphean friend. Now, what's on your mind?
vale.
All right, friend. Hope you find a way to break that cycle you're in.
Bueno, a ver. Voy al templo. Cojo el arco de madera. Información del emperador Nerón, las flechas en pluma y el denario. Y ya está. Y ahora vamos a ver. De aquí está. Vamos a continuar que ya dejamos con esta misión.
Ah, a new face. Salve, and welcome to a little community. My name's impossible. Well, Malleolus is talking about loosening some of the restrictions in this place. And while it's all a bit vague, at least he has a vision. My vote isn't for sale, if that's what you're asking. Nice to talk to you.
You there? I'm sorry to trouble you, but I couldn't help but notice that fine gold leaf bow you're carrying.
Ay,
In fact, if I didn't know better, I'd say it looked like my own handiwork.
qué curioso.
You've given me an idea for a scheme that will make us both very, very wealthy. First,
Por favor, dime que déjame interrumpirle.
you enter the shrine, extinguish the braziers, and under cover of darkness, swap out the fake for the original. It's not theft exactly. So make no mistake, this is a dangerous path. But in my experience, all the best adventures begin with a risky first step. Now, you must have questions. Ask away.
Ahora mismo no tengo nada.
So, are you in, partner? Now, I've gone and unlocked the Shrine of Diana for you, so as quick as you can, head on inside. It's just at the end of the street on the left. May the gods not watch over you.
Y ahora quiero hablar con Fabia. Aquí está.
Salve and welcome. Need something? Oh, there's not much to tell. I mostly just bake bread and try to help out where I can. I suppose it all started about 8 months ago. I was living in Rome with my family when I got sick. Terrible timing. My pa had just arranged a husband for me, a fisherman's son. I was about to meet him for the first time when I came down with an awful fever. I spent the next week in bed. Pa paid priests to make offerings to Asclepius, a white rooster, then a goat. But nothing worked.
Vaya cura.
In the end, they decided I'd do better outside the city. Clean air in the countryside would do me good, they said. But after about a day in a carriage on the Appian Way, I was getting worse, not better. I remember closing my eyes for a bit, and I guess I must have fell asleep, because when I opened them again, I was in a forest by a river. I suppose the driver took off with his fee and left me for dead. Can't say I blame him. I wouldn't have wanted to catch what I had either. Anyway, I went searching for help, stumbled across the trapdoor temple, and here I am. Oh yeah, I suppose you're right. Hadn't really thought about it. But the gods are mysterious and powerful. Who knows what their plans are for us? What? You've been here a few moments and you're desperate to get out already? Why not give the place a chance before you try to leave? Good people here. Galerius works hard on the farm so I can put food on our tables. And Lucretia tries to keep us healthy. My friend Georgius is always mending our clothes. And Virgil makes sure these old walls don't fall down around us. Well, he does his best. I'm just saying, there are worse places you could live out your days. Well, I can tell from your funny accent you're not from around here, but that doesn't mean you don't belong, does it? Oh, I try not to worry about it. I mean, if people are nice to each other, we won't have anything to worry about, will we? Thanks. And I like your teeth. They're so white. And your clothes. Oh, I bet my friend Georgius would like to get a look at you. And I'm sure he'd love to chatter about the Golden Rule with you too. He'll be just across the forum in his shop.
Vamos a ver.
Terrible shame, that is. Maybe this'll help. Late last night, I was cleaning my oven when I heard some noises outside. The forum's usually dead quiet at that hour, so I came out to see what was going on. To be honest, I thought maybe poor old Dooley had got out of his cell and was snooping around again. So I put my head out and saw someone in front of Virgil's shop. I couldn't tell who. It was too dark. I called out to them, but they just turned and ran off without a word. All I remember is they ran past a lit torch and the light glinted off something metallic. Armour, I think. So I suppose it could only be one of three people. Horatius, Domitius or Rufius. I hope that helps. All right. Thanks again for taking care of our problem. I won't forget it.
Vale, con esto puedo seguir avanzando la misión esa. Pero ahora vamos a ver el centro. Vamos a empezar con Rufi.
Name's Rufius.
Tengo que mirar los colores de los ojos.
No idea what you're talking about. Whatever.
Usa ese arco. Y las estatuas. Hay un panel de abejas ahí.
Is that you, partner? Do you have the bow? Wonderful. Just go ahead and slide it under the door for me and I'll unlock it for you. A little bit slow, aren't you? Yes, I locked you in, and until you give me my bow, you're gonna stay in there, like Tantalus in Tartarus. No, technically, I never said that. I said, if we were to split all those riches between the two of us, infinite wealth is still infinite. It's hardly my fault if you can't tell the difference between a hypothetical and a promise, now is it? Oh, I do love a good loophole. You're just gonna have to take your chances, I'm afraid. The bow, now. And don't even think about giving me the fake one. I'll recognize my own handiwork. I would reconsider my position quickly if I were you. I'm not sure if you noticed, but you're stuck in there with a hornet's nest, and they can be rather aggressive toward intruders. You know, some say it takes 27 hornet stings to kill a man. but I always wondered how anyone could have known that. Let's find out if they were right, shall we?
Espera, ¿qué algo tengo aquí? Hostia, ¿este arco funciona? Joder, parece que hay un... Cada vez me cae peor ese tío. Fragmento. A ver, tengo un marco que vuelve dorado. Que vuelve dorado cualquier cosa que toca. Joder, tenía razón. Flecha emplumada y 120. Otro. A que así a lo tonto he descubierto cómo salir. ¿Las algas? Espera. ¿Qué? Dice las algas. ¿Qué pasa con las algas? Ah, vale. Este no es el arco. Vamos a ver. Es que no sé ni dónde está. Diario de Nena.
Galatea, I write this so that one day, when we're finally together, you will understand what I've done.
A ver, mira,
and why
te
I
escribo
had
esto.
to do it. The others will call me mad or a monster, but I don't care what they think. Everything I'm doing here, I'm doing for you. I'll start at the beginning. Soon after my arrival here, as I walk down a corridor lined with gold, my beloved Galatea, I write this
Ah, vale, que puede
so that
pasar.
one day, when we're finally together, you will understand what I've done and why I had to do it. The others will call me mad or a monster, but I don't care what they think. Everything I'm doing here, I'm doing for you. I'll start at the beginning. Soon after my arrival here, as I walked down a corridor lined with golden statues, I thought I heard a whisper behind me, a rasp of air, as if vocal cords of metal strained to say a word or two. I tried to dismiss the idea, tried to concentrate on my work as the city's medic, but that tortured whisper haunted me. Weeks later, in the hallway to the bathhouse, I heard it again and found myself drawn to the statue of a Roman woman wearing a stola. Her face was contorted with anguish and fear, and, disturbingly, it was as if she was looking right at me. As I walked past her, I heard that strained whisper again. And turning back, I discovered that even though I had moved, she was still looking right into my soul. That was when it dawned on me.
Mira, esto me recuerda a las del Far Cry 3.
This was a woman trapped within that golden prison. Naturally, I told the others, but when I could not reproduce the results of my experiment, they would not believe me. But from that moment on, I knew the full horror of this place. Immobilized within these statues are living human beings. It was that day, my love, that my heart broke.
Ah, no, eso tengo que hacerlo después. Pero voy, por si acaso, voy a guardar. ¿Por dónde tengo que subir? Otra lámpara de aceite. Vale, a ver. Ahora sí. Ahí está, es este el arco. Qué útil es este arco. Joder. Que no sé qué arco es. A ver. A ver. Vale. No sé dónde he terminado. No puedo ir por esa cuerda. Es que tengo 3 arcos. Digo que debe... No sé qué... Pero será mejor que apague este. Y voy en sigilo. Y no sé... ¿Qué misión es esto? Hoja de Pandora... Grecia... Joder. Para no haber arcos, anda que no hay flechas. Joder. Qué tétricas son las estatuas que me están viendo. Hay mucho... Joder, hay muchas barricadas por esta zona. Aquí, en este aquí. Se nota que esto es más de investigación. Los enemigos caen a la primera. A ver. Y otro cofre con flechas. Hay más por aquí. Para el aceite.
You're not supposed to be here.
Pero, ¿por qué me ha dicho de convertir las olas en rojo? Espera un momento. ¿Por aquí qué? Nada. Que pone Garun en salsa de pescado fermentado como mana leve aroma salado. Garwood. No sé por qué me han pedido esto. Vale. ¿Para qué? Aquí no hay nada. En el fondo me dan pena. Vamos a ver. Joder, sigo avanzando y avanzando. Otra en flechas. Ya está. Vale, buena estrategia para evitar que me bloqueen el camino. Joder. Tengo flechas para dar y tomar. Voy a guardar aquí porque no sé qué hay ahí. Vale. Ah, mira. Solo hay esto. Ah. No me digas que averiguo cómo salir de aquí. Joder. Si todas estas estatuas son gente petrificada, hubo gente que se acercó mucho a la salida. Oh. Parece que estos están pidiendo piedad cuando entro. Bolsa de monedas. Cadena. Esto parece una panadería. Es increíble cómo esto se sigue usando casi hoy en día. Bueno, un poco más moderno, pero el concepto es básicamente el mismo. Vale, la he cagado. Eso estaba diseñado para traerlos y poder convertirlos a todos con una flecha y al final menos mal que tengo un montón. Joder. ¿Cuántos de ellos hay? Es que no sé ni quién es esa gente. Vale, intentar no salir por aquí. Espera, no puedo moverme. Esto hay una barricada por aquí. No, creo que no hay. Ahí sí. Uy, ¿sigo dentro? Joder. Vamos. Qué susto me dan eso. Llaves de puerta de palas. Coger objeto. Y a ver qué él dice aquí. ¿Cómo se nota que esto es exhibidor? ¿Y qué? ¿Qué? ¿Qué? Espera, ¿qué? A ver.
My beloved
Mi
Galatea.
amada Galeta, ¿te las conoces?
After I learned the
Estoy cerca de la
terrible truth
ciudad,
about
he
the
vagado
golden
por la ciudad como
statues,
si
I
estuviera
wandered the city
¿cómo
as
es la
if
vida de
in a
estas
nightmare.
pobres almas atrapadas en la
What
y en
must
cierto
life be
modo
like for
no
these
vivo?
poor souls, entombed
Frío,
in gold,
tártaro,
but kept
condenado
alive
tan
somehow,
terrible que ninguna mente sabe.
trapped in their own personal Tartarus, consigned to eternal torment, too horrific for any sane mind to comprehend. I tried to offer them what small mercies I could. I began to talk to them, to keep them company. I'd imagine backstories for them, give them names, and tell them of the world, of the histories and stories I'd learned as a child. As the others became more concerned by my charity, I sought solitude from them, preferring the company of my tormented charges. Discovering a way into the abandoned palace, I began to spend my days walking its halls and sharing with its occupants ancient tales, my mind turning to those of Apollo and Daphne, Perseus and Medusa, and Pygmalion and Galatea. Pygmalion, the sculptor who fell in love with a beautiful statue, and who, praying to Aphrodite for aid, discovered that his beloved Galatea had come to life. It was then that I heard you whisper to me, Galatea. Forgive me. I know that is not your real name, just one I have borrowed from a story. But when I turned to look at you, I saw the most exquisitely beautiful woman I have ever known. Your face, forever frozen in a look of haunting sadness.
Ya no hay más.
Our meeting gave me new purpose, to free you from your golden prison, so that I might one day hear you speak.
Empezó a quitar el oro. Entonces estas que son zombies
Named me. So I gathered tools for the long
son las
and difficult
estatuas que
task
les
ahead.
quitó el oro.
Barred the doors to this
Y que,
place.
joder,
To work.
normal que pidan que morir. Vale, a ver. Una estatua de eso. ¿Qué cojones? ¿De dónde ha salido esta estatua? Qué susto me ha pegado, la verdad. A ver. Están todos corriendo. Quiero ver una cosa. Inventario. Los registro de ciudadanos. Navivia. No sé si estará. Naedia, sí que está. Ahora una nota. Se ha encerrado en el palacio. Vale, esta es la que se encerró en el palacio. Espera, si está encerrado en el palacio, esto quiere decir que esto comunica. Ya veo. Esto comunica con los túneles subterráneos. Joder, no. Parece que ya está. Aquí están. ¿Cuántas flechas emplumadas hay por aquí? por aquí? No. Esos de atrás me están guiando. Espérate un momento, tengo que ir. Todo eso es dorado. Ay. Joder. Vamos a ver, no puedo darles. Vale. Otra vez. Eso quiere decir que el que está en el subterráneo es uno de estos que saque. Y eso quiere... Ni vale. Aquí no puedo ir. Mira, otro saco de monedas. Ay. Joder, pero ¿cuántas monedas hay aquí? Por aquí no puedo ir. Solo puedo ir por aquí. Aquí estaban como... Vale, parece que me estoy acercando. Vale. No, por aquí no puedo ir. Y aquí se puede cogerlo. No. Mira cuántos. Espera esto. Esta es una mujer. Me recuerda. Ah, coño, esto está hecho para... ¿Queda alguno? Joder. ¿Quién hizo esto? Otra.
My beloved
Mi querida Galatea, mis intentos de llevar esto no han salido como esperaba. Empecé por una mujer griega a quien llamé a Jodana, la ateniense a quien Medusa convirtió en rey. Al taladrar el oro que la recubría me reafirmé en mis ideas al descubrir que bajo una capa de centímetros que debe ser algún tipo de aleación había carne viva. Lamentablemente parece que esta aleación de oro se fusionó con su piel, así que al quitarla quedaron expuestos los tendones y músculos que le absorben todo. En principio me preparé ya que esperaba que al causar tanto dolor rompería el oro. Pero no fue así. Parece que al dios responsable de encarcelar a estas pobres almas no le importa su sufrimiento. Están dejados de la mano de Dios. Con resolución perseveré. Trabajé hasta tarde para intentar quitar la película dorada que la revestía con toda la delicadeza posible. Finalmente pude limpiar casi todo su cuerpo, pero cuando la liberé de sus restricciones, lo primero que hizo fue lanzarse a mi cuello, agarrándose con todas sus fuerzas, y con esos afilados rasgos mentales. Ese fue mi agradecimiento por intentar salvarla. Sea lo que fuera que empujó a Jodan a atacar, claramente no era un sujeto adecuado para mi evento, así que me vi obligado a cerrarla en un ala aislada del palacio y bloquear la puerta mientras continuaba mi trabajo con los demás. Escuchaba cómo se sacudía y se daba cabezazos con la otra punta sin cesar. Por desgracia, mis otros sufrimientos dieron unos resultados inigualables. Y tras trasladarme unas cuantas veces, la mayor parte del palacio es demasiado peligroso para trabajar. Sin embargo, pese al dolor que alberga mi corazón debido a tus sufrimientos, no puedo arriesgarme a quitarle de la capa de oro que te rodea, así que seguiré hasta que no haya perfeccionado un método para recuperarte por completo en cuerpo y alma, antes de que se conserve y que garantice que se conserve tu humanidad. Te prometo un día que nos reuniremos, aunque tenga que liberar a todas las estatuas de la mano de Dios. Joder. O sea que estén estas cosas por el palacio es su culpa.
I promise you this. One day we will be together, even if I have to free every last statue in this god's forsaken place.
Genial. Qué raro, la puerta tira de abajo, o sea, como... Ah, claro, este tenía todo su saco. Quiero decir, tengo suficiente munición para moverme sin problemas. Vale, sigue el... Joder, qué susto me he pegado. Ni más sangre. Joder, este es reciente. Uf, le ha sacado todo. ¿Por qué cojones? Parece que cuando se vuelven... Sí, intentó perfeccionar las técnicas y en otras ocasiones se fue de la mano y terminó matando a los sujetos. Intenta buscar un punto intermedio, pero... qué puñetera sangría. ¿Quién es? Me cago en la mar. Tú eres Navelia.
And you must be the wretched snake who broke into my palace and disturbed my experiments. And worst of all, look at what you made me do to her. This never would have happened if you just stayed away. You're going to pay for that. Think I care about that? I don't care what happens to me, as long as you get what you deserve. Liar! I locked and barred the gate. I left a message warning you all to leave me alone. I just wanted to do my experiments in peace, for her. And now look at her. You made me turn the most beautiful woman I've ever seen into this. Look at her. She's in agony. All I wanted was to spend my last moments with her, to see her beautiful face, to hear her speak freely, instead of in those cryptic whispers. But as soon as I began my work, she stopped whispering to me. And now I discover she started whispering to you.
Joder, esta tía está loca.
What's so special about you? What do you mean, the same voice? Yes. I remember when they used to whisper to me. They did sound similar. I just thought it was because all voices...
A ver si la convenzco, porque si no tengo que volver a empezar desde cero.
They were all benevolent and seemed to share a common knowledge. But if these bodies are mere conduits for that one voice, then this body is nobody. And
Inútil.
everything I've done here was... Wait, I see what you're doing. You're trying to steal her away from me. Were you planning to wait until I'd done all the hard work, then swoop in?
Genial. Eso no, lo juro. Voy a decir no, lo juro.
Liar. You tried to steal her away from me, and now look what you made me do. Give me one good reason why I shouldn't peel you too.
Acabaré aquí por accidente. Yo solo me quiero ir.
What? What are you talking about? Wait. So you're saying you weren't coming for us?
No tenía pensado matar, pero cuando he visto lo que has hecho, nunca...
So I did all this. I ruined her. For nothing. What have I done? Oh God, I feel sick. I can't bear the thought of her being like this. and in so much pain. It's the air coming into contact with her flesh. It's agonizing for them. But the only way to fix it will be to break the golden rule and let it run its course. At least that way she'd be golden again, and we'd be together. All it would take is one little cut.
Un momento, puedes deshacer.
It's too late. There's nothing you can do. I have to do this. I'm sorry. What? How? Really? I'm not sure I believe you. But if you can undo this mess, I'll give you the key to my old medical chest in the Shrine of Apollo. I imagine it would help Lucretia ease the suffering of those still in the city. But if you're lying to me, I'll break
Menos mal, ya sé que me...
and kill you and everyone else in this city. Understood? You did it. You took away her pain. I don't know what to say. Thank you. Thank you. I swear I will never harm her again. I swear it. I'll stay here to keep her company. But these poor souls, what can be done?
Las has despellejado viva. Esta tía está loca.
I fear the only one capable of releasing them properly is whichever god doomed them in the first place. In any case, I must honor our bargain. Here's the key I promised you. It opens a chest in the Shrine of Apollo. I believe there are a few things in there which may be useful to Lucretia.
Gracias.
Now, please leave. The door here leads out onto the palace balcony. You should be able to make your way down from there. Go, and never return.
Joder. Espero que no haya hecho ninguna locura. No sé si el suicidio cuenta. Vale, sí, ahí. Pero ahí aquí está. Voy a ver si puedo hablar con ella. A ver si puede soltármelo. Nada, no puede soltarme nada. Pero es que hay un punto de carga justo después de... Pero me gustaría haber sabido su historia. Superviviente. A ver a dónde me lleva. Me da a mí que esto es para bajar. Creo que esto sirve para poder subir. No, esto es para subir. Bueno. ¿Qué coño quieres decir con eso? Observa a través de sus ojos. Bueno. Voy a informar de todo a este.
Citizen, we're finally alone. I assume you already know who
Me llama.
we have. Wait, I must have entrusted you. Is that about right?
Esto me tengo, hombre.
Seems rather brash, but of course. What is it? Well, if you stopped one person from breaking it and
Vale.
allow me to the crux of it, to illustrate, if you managed to, the same thing would, if either of those things, so the fact that you, excellent. So,
Here,
looks like you'll have to continue.
General mine.
Of course. What it? Yes. Why do you say that? What? That's.
Vamos.
Well then, I can't be seen to. You better not wait. Good. Thank you.
Y ahora tengo que hablar con este. ¿Dónde se ha ido el...? Ahí.
What is it, citizen? What? Absolutely not. I know someone's been threatening him, and I'm not happy about it. But I can assure you, it isn't me. All right?
Es que, claro, no sé. No me extrañaría que fuera un cristiano.
Malleolus isn't receiving visitors at the moment, it being election day. Do I seem like anonymous threats of my style?
Buah.
Whatever. Just remember, I'll be watching.
Thank you. Thank you. I am delighted and deeply honored to have been elected your majesty.
A ver qué dice.
Domitius doesn't usually let anyone in here without a hefty tribute, so you must have been desperate to see me. Well, what do you want?
¿Qué cojones?
My name is Marcus Malleolus Gurgis. You seem to have confused me with someone else.
Tiene... Ah, tiene... Justo como...
You mean my heterochromia? I am guilty of nothing more than...
Pues es una cosa muy rara, la verdad es...
And I'm hardly the only person with the condition. Alexander the Great had it too, as it happens. I like to think it is simply the way the gods have chosen to mark a natural-born ruler. Nothing more. Well, I am not suffering from any delusions, as today's election will firmly establish. Unlikely, because it simply isn't true. Now,
Hombre, por lo menos esto no me ha dejado de hablar, pero ¿tiene los ojos de diferente color?
I'm Malleolus, and if it wasn't for this interruption, I'd be practicing my victory speech for the election later today.
Ah.
I'm glad you asked. I'll finally restore freedom to this city, just as I've been promising. These good people have suffered long enough under Sentius's tyranny. By declaring there's no such thing as the Golden Rule. It's a children's fable exploited by Sentius to frighten us into submission. Wait,
Yo sé.
don't tell me you've fallen victim to that monstrous lie. Nonsense. There's no way you can prove that. If it was real and you'd seen someone break it, then you'd be dead already.
Vuelvo a vivir el mismo día, ¿no? Y entonces encontré un libro cuyo... Vuelvo a vivir el mismo y entonces ellos son...
What? Oh, I see what's happening here. Another poor, vulnerable soul taken in by Sentius's machinations. He won't get away with this much longer. You mean that book next to a golden statue in the theater? Tell me, how do you know that statue wasn't put there by Sentius himself? You can't know, can you? Surely, you're not one of those people who believes everything you read. As if a lie could be transformed into the truth by the simple act of writing it.
Joder, este tío... No sé cómo...
I disagree. I'll be guided by what is best for the city's people, and that means giving them the freedom.
¿Y qué es lo que desean si ya tienen libertad?
True, but that is simply because you are mistaken. I'm afraid not. We're stuck down here together, for better or worse. We're all going to have to make the best of it. You mean the children's fable exploited by
Esto es lo mismo que me ha
Sentius to
dicho.
scare us all into doing what he wants? Of course not. But as I always say, if Sentius can't protect his daughter,
Tengo que encontrar a su
how
hijo.
can we trust him to protect this city? Look, if you're trying to find her, you may wish to check the cisterns beneath this villa. Domitius says he saw a body there some weeks back. Of course, just to be clear, I take no responsibility for what happens to you down there. Are you insane? You barge into my villa uninvited and then make out...
Joder, la villa es muy grande para ti solo, la verdad.
Why would I withdraw from an election I'm bound to win?
Porque cuando gane romperá.
Don't talk nonsense. There's no such thing as the golden rule.
Vas a aceptar siempre atención. Cuando me mate, pues
How
mateo.
could you possibly know that?
Porque conozco.
Nonsense! This is nonsense! I don't know how you know about my plans, but I'm absolutely sure Sentius is involved somehow. And now, I'm going to enjoy watching Domitius kill him even more. Now, get out of here! You outstayed your very limited welcome.
No sé cómo cojones convencerle. Casi debía de echarle la culpa al otro. Espera, ¿qué es eso? No voy a entrar en sus aposentos. Pero me ha dado una pista, voy a bajar abajo.
Hey, you're not thinking about going into the cistern, are you? Well, it's your funeral.
Vamos a hacer lo del aljibe. No me dejas sin nada. Eso quiere decir que esto también gira al palacio. Vale, entonces ya sé lo que tengo que hacer. Vamos allá. Ajá. Solo son denarios. ¿Para qué me sirve tanto denario? A ver. Entra por aquí. Esto se ha vuelto muy plataformero. Así que este es el aljibe superior. ¡Hostia!
Who are you? Did he send you? Do you know you're here? You have to help me escape before that monster comes back. I'm Centella. I found a way out through the Gate of Horn, but it's locked. So I told him about it, and instead of helping me escape, he locked me up. He wants to keep us all here forever, or until we're turned to gold. He's a monster. You have to let me go so we can kill him and take his key. I don't know. He said the gods are on his side because they don't want us to escape either. Behind me, there's an aqueduct tunnel bringing water from outside the city, so it should lead us outside. The only problem is it's barred by a heavy locked gate, and he has the only key. Sentius, my adoptive father. Furies help me. I'll castrate and crucify him.
¡Hostia puta!
I'm going to take that key from around his neck, even if it means cutting his throat to get it. I'm done caring about the Golden Rule. I just want out. Help me, so we can escape together.
¡Joder! Yo pensaba que esa era buena.
There won't be enough time. Just you and me. What do you say?
Para que puedan escapar de una vez que se...
There's no time. Wait, did you hear that? He's here. Quick, you have to let me go. It's now or never.
¿Qué hago? Es que puede que sea un final far. ¿Puedo hacer un guardado rápido aquí? No.
What? No. You can't just leave me here.
No es...
How can you be so heartless?
Debe dejarme ver si puedo comenzar a...
I hate you. I spit on you. I hope Diz drags you to Tartarus.
Espera, voy a ver. Estoy guardando.
You're back. Have you come to let me go this time? Oh, thank you. Now follow... Wait. Did you hear that? He's here. He must be coming in through the door behind me. You distract him. Stay right here and keep him talking while I look for something I can use.
What did you do with Centilla? Where is she? So that is how it's going to be. Oh well, this doesn't change anything for me. It's a shame, really. If you'd just done what you were supposed to, you'd have been looping through time forever until you gave up and killed yourself. Just like that soft-hearted play.
¿Al? ¿Qué? Bueno, disculpa.
didn't think you were the only one here who remembered everything. You see, my connection to the portal somehow preserves my memories from one loop to the next. Whether that was Proserpina's intention or a happy accident, I'll never know. But I'm surprised you hadn't noticed. Here I was thinking you were a little bit sharper than Al was. Or perhaps you're just more willing to break the rules. He was a moralistic fellow, never once compromised on his principles. And because of that fatal flaw, he relived this day many thousands of times before we finally had this conversation. I watched him come through the portal each time, always a little older, a little more disheveled, a little more empty. And when he finally saw the futility of it all, as you're about to, it broke him. He drank a jug of wine, tied a noose around his neck, and took his own life. Just before he was shot with a golden arrow. The next time I awoke, you showed up, but you've caught up to where he was so quickly. I'd have preferred if you'd given me more time to enjoy the trappings of my success. How many extra days did you give me? Just the 3? Not many. But don't worry, I'm sure there'll be another useful idiot who comes along after you're dead. In any case, there's no escape for you except the path that Al took, the path he wrote about on his tablet. What was it? Ah, yes. Better to end it
Es mejor que descubrir lo que hay detrás de ese portal.
beyond that portal.
¿Qué cojones?
You discovered my secret. So
¿Qué
what?
bueno?
What are you going to do about it?
Es decir, que me...
Of course. There's no way you could have succeeded. Every soul who has ever found themselves here has broken the golden rule eventually. It is inevitable. Man will always sin sooner or later. Any idiot could tell you this. But where others might see tragedy, I saw...
Adelante, cárgatelo.
As I told you the first time we met, I found a way to cheat death. By reliving the same day over and over again, forever. And I will continue living long after your dust.
¿Sabía que no?
Why? Isn't it obvious? Because I have grown attached to all this. My title, my beautiful villa, the sun on my face, the music of birds chirping. And as long as this day keeps repeating itself, I get to enjoy it all, over and over again, for eternity.
Ay, qué gusto va a ser cuando le digas.
Don't you see? I have found a way to prolong my life indefinitely, to cheat death. I have become, in effect, as immortal as the gods. Can you honestly say you would not wish the same for yourself? Do you really think you can take on a Decurion with that flimsy little bow?
Podría.
Who? Scintilla? Where is she?
I'm right here, Father.
The many shall suffer for the sins of the one.
Come on, we have to go. Hey, what's happening to you? That light, it's so bright.
Espera. ¿Eh? Pero creo que hay más finales.
Hi there. Gave me a bit of a fray. Thought I was in here alone. I'm Al. Well, here I am. I'm sorry, I didn't catch your name. Funny you should ask. I was just reading an old tablet I found here. Well, trying. My Latin is kinda rusty, but the last entry mentioned someone with the same name. It described an event about 2,000 years ago. Someone with your name appeared in the city out of the shrine of Proserpina. freed an imprisoned woman named Scintilla, who then murdered her captor, breaking some kind of ancient law. It said the attack caused golden statues to come alive, hunting down everyone in the city and turning them into gold. Apparently, the only person to survive was Scintilla, while the stranger disappeared in a flash of light. What? You're saying you were here 2,000 years ago? I'm not sure I understand.
Cuando llegué aquí por primera vez.
I'm sorry, come again?
No tengo nada de eso.
Let me see that. God, why does this writing look so familiar? I've spent a lifetime in this place going around and around in circles. This is disturbing. But I don't understand how I could have written it.
I'm
not following. So you're saying, because a man from 2,000 years ago is dead, he never created a time portal, so I never went through it, and that's why I don't remember any of this. I guess you saved my life then, as well as helping that poor woman to escape. That's a lot to take in. Maybe we can escape through the same aqueduct Scintilla used, if we can find it.
Vamos. Joder, pobre Galerno.
I'm gonna pause here for a moment and make sure nobody else has ever lured into this temple.
Bueno.
You go on ahead. I'll be there soon.
Hice un guardado rápido antes de liberar a Galerno, así que creo que puedo.
You're back, but you're alone. Does that mean you didn't find Al?
Yeah.
Oh, what a relief. Thank you so much. I was beginning to think you'd both become trapped in there. Why don't you tell me what you discovered while we wait? Really? Sounds amazing. And did you... Oh, look, here he comes.
Es que tengo el sentimiento.
It's so good to see you. You were gone so long I thought I'd never see you again.
Kinda lost track of time in there. You wouldn't believe what we found. The ruins of a long-forgotten city. And there was a tablet describing an event 2,000 years ago. Supposedly, the city was destroyed when a woman murdered a tyrant with the help of, well, my new friend here. I know how crazy that sounds.
Maybe not that crazy. That woman. I don't suppose her name was... Scintilla?
How could you... What?
She left a tablet of her own. I stumbled across it while I was waiting here. I think she meant for you to read it. Here, take a look.
I don't know what became of you, or if you'll ever read this, but I want you to know that I will never forget you, or what you did for me. It pains me that so many dear friends were not so fortunate. Ulpius, Cynthia, Lucretia, Horatius, Galerius, poor Dooley, and the others. But please understand, their blood is on my hands, not yours. I will live with the consequences of my actions, and all I can do is move forward, trying to show others the same compassion you showed me. I promise you that saving my life will not be for nothing. Scintilla.
Sounds like you meant a lot to her. I'd love to hear your story, but first, you two look exhausted. Why don't you hop in my boat and rest while I ferry you back to civilization?
Sounds good to me.
And you? Are you ready to go home?
Y he conseguido un final. Final 2 de 4. Hostia, ¿cuántos podrían haber sido? A ver, vale, o sea, hay 4 finales. El final verdadero es el cuarto. He conseguido el segundo. Fíjate que hay un final más sencillo que no sé cuál será. Ay. Creo que este juego le habrán hecho 4 gatos. O sea, no creo que haya muchos. Pero, bueno. Quiero ver si puedo continuar. ¿Se cargará el último punto? No se cargará de... ¡Sí! Vamos a continuar un poco más hasta conseguir el siguiente loop. O sea, tienes que escapar por aquí. Está cerrado. Pero entonces tengo que volver por donde he venido. Aunque ahora que lo pienso, creo que por eso están los... Pero no matan bien. Vamos a ver. Porque es sencilla, que sobre todo quería rescatar a sus amigos.
Isn't the great temple majestic? A new face, Arve, and may Vesta watch over you.
Vamos a ver.
Interesting. I'm not. Yeah, what? That's true. And did you happen to catch her name? Because
voy a reunirme con él. Vamos a continuar un poco el juego, aunque he conseguido el segundo final. No es un final malo ni bueno. Bueno, solo he salvado una. Y tengo que salvar a más gente. ¿Cómo será el final número 1? Sacerdotisa. ¿Qué pasa con la sacerdotisa? Joder, qué pedazo baño. ¿Sigue existiendo algún baño de este tipo? Sí que era el único medio de entretenimiento que tenían los romanos, que no involucrara la muerte de personas o animales.
all right, you're here. You were asking how I knew the young woman you met by the river was wearing a hood. Here, look down at the bottom of the baths. It's a little hard to make out in this light. If only we could see. Oh, what a marvelous lamp. But do you see it? Somebody waking up by a river in the forest to find a hooded figure with a coin. It's just as you described it, only your pronunciation is a little off. The name you heard wasn't Charon. It was C-H-A-R-O-N, as in Charon, the ferryman of the dead. Charon, who, in exchange for the right coin, helps the souls of the newly deceased cross the Styx, the river that separates the land of the living from the land of the dead.
When I dragged you out of the river, I thought you were never gonna wake up. I checked your pockets for ID, but all I found was some loose change.
Anda.
Feels like I've spent my whole life in a dead-end job with an endless commute. Sorry if I sounded cagey, it's just that I don't always get the best reactions when I introduce myself. My name's Karen.
There are a bunch of old stories about the gods punishing people by making them do the same futile task over and over. But on the bright side, at least you're not stuck in the underworld like they all were.
I'm so sorry, my friend. I'm so sorry. I take it you know what this means.
¿Este lugar es el inframundo?
I'm afraid so. It's all starting to make sense. All these people whose last memory was running from the fires toward the river. It seems none of them escaped with their lives after all. Perhaps we should be grateful they don't remember their final moments. It also tells us that the Golden Rule is the work of Pluto, the god of the underworld, and why his epithet has always been Father of Riches. I know it's a lot to take in, and you look as if you have questions, so I'll try to answer them if I can.
Entonces estamos en
That was my first thought too. In the old stories, the underworld was where the souls of the deceased were taken. But it was also possible for the living to reach it without dying, if they were particularly fearless. So I'm afraid I don't know. Oh, I'm sorry. I keep forgetting you're not from here. If you were Roman, or even Greek, you would know these stories. Each of them is slightly different, whether the storyteller was Plato, Homer, Virgil, or Ovid. But they always involve the souls of the dead meeting a grim ferryman named Charon on the bank of a river. It was said that he'd helped the new arrival cross, only if they could pay him with a coin, an obol. That's why it was once our custom to bury our loved ones with a coin in their mouths. Charon's obol, we called it. Of course, an obol was a kind of Greek coin, because we inherited this knowledge from the Greeks.
Lo gracioso es que esa moneda se ponía en algunos sitios, se te cambió a los ojos, pero lo que creo que la más común es que se ponía en la boca para que cuando Caronte les interrogara de quién era, al decir su nombre se le caía la moneda, la cogiera y le subiera al barco.
To be fair, the ferryman isn't exactly as the poets described, and he, she, they seem to appear to different people in different guises. You say you saw a young woman named Karen with a hood, and I once heard Kabash mention a stranger in a ram headdress named Kerti, and Rufius described meeting a stranger named Kumutabar wearing an eagle headdress. But whatever form this stranger took, they were always wearing a hood of some sort, and their name always began with a K.
Joder.
I suspect the only way you'll solve this riddle is if your paths cross again. Good question. Let's see. In the stories, Charon would always require a coin as payment for passage across the river, but that never made any sense to me. What does an ancient immortal being need with coins? In our case, it seems Charon didn't take the coins we had. He or she merely checked we had one in our possession. So, maybe there's something special about the coins each of us had on us. That might explain why we wound up here, but so many others did not. No. I mean, I had my suspicions, especially after Livia's ramblings, but I would never have figured it out without your help. I promise you. Now that we know where we are, we have to figure out what to do about it, if we don't want to be cast into gold for eternity. We don't have much to go on, except the old stories. I remember 4 in particular about heroes in the underworld. Hercules, the demigod and son of Jupiter.
Orfeo, Sifio
Sisyphus,
y Eneas. Espera.
And Aeneas, a Trojan hero.
¿Y Ulises?
Hercules was able to leave the underworld because he cowed its god with his strength.
Más bien llegó a un trato con él.
Sisyphus and Orpheus both relied on their wits instead. They persuaded the goddess of the underworld, Proserpina, to help them escape. And finally, Aeneas was able to escape with the help of a spirit guide, who led him through a secret gate. So it seems you have 2 options: to confront the god of the underworld head-on,
or find a way to escape with the help of
Enfrentarte cara a cara con el dios del inframundo. Vale, entonces el dios del inframundo es Zencio, porque es ahí cuando te enfrentas cara a cara con él. Vale.
It's a reasonable question, but the problem is, this place is fairly well designed to keep us here. There's no way to climb up the shaft, and even if you could build a ladder big enough, just trying it would break the golden rule. We know that, thanks to the writings left behind by those who've tried. All Romans try to avoid saying it, and the reason is quite simple. He might hear us. You may refer to him as Pluto, if you wish, but you'll only be calling attention to yourself. Do so at your own peril. Shh! Is everyone so blunt where you're from? Oh. That option would be the boldest, but also the only way to learn the truth about the Golden Rule, and maybe even put an end to it. As I said, Hercules managed to overpower the god of the underworld, but he was a demigod.
Bueno, más o menos Hércules llevó un trato con él.
Are you telling me that you can? I won't pretend to understand exactly what that means, but if that's true, then perhaps you stand a chance. So, if you want to confront him, I'll help you as much as I can. Who knows? Perhaps your name will be uttered in the same sentence as Hercules one day. But first, you'd need an audience with you-know-who, and for that, you'll need to enter the great temple overlooking the city. The problem is, the door has been sealed shut for as long as I've lived here, and there doesn't even seem to be a keyhole. I suspect the answer lies in the desecrated obelisk in front of it. I'm not sure if you noticed, but there are 4 plaques missing from its base. It looks as though somebody, or a series of somebodies, forcibly removed them, and in doing so, dishonored and angered our divine keeper. If you could recover and replace all 4 of those missing plaques, I imagine he might be willing to receive an audience again. It's the towering stone monument with 4 sides and a pyramid-shaped head that stands before the great temple, a dedication to the god of this place. You'll find them all over Rome, but of course they were looted from Egypt many years ago. It seems one of them made its way here too, although how is a mystery. However, this one is unusual in that each of the 4 sides is decorated in a different style.
Romano, griego, egipcio,
Roman, Greek, Egyptian, and another I don't recognize. That means you'll need to recover 4 different plaques. Roman, Greek, Egyptian, and a 4th, a mystery plaque. Good question. To answer that, we first need to ask who would have defaced the obelisk in the first place. It would have had the god's name engraved into it, so it may be that whoever desecrated it wanted that name to be forgotten. And there's only one group of people I know of who might want to do that. There's a cult in Rome that often argued there is only one true god.
Un cristiano.
Of course. They've been known to start fires, as well as deface religious monuments whose existence challenged their beliefs. If I were you, I'd go looking for them. Of course, they've all been in hiding since the fire last year, so finding them won't be easy. But I did hear a rumor they have a secret shrine somewhere in the city. Perhaps, if you could find that, you might be able to recover the Roman plaque.
Vaya.
I don't know. But perhaps you should begin your search with the local Greek fellow, Georgius. His store is in the forum. Perhaps Kabash, our Egyptian resident, will be able to tell us. Unfortunately, he disappeared weeks ago. But I did hear Aurelia is peddling rumors about him at the tavern, so perhaps you could talk to her, or just take a look in his room. I'm afraid you're on your own with that one. but perhaps finding the other three will illuminate the way. As I mentioned, both Orpheus and Sisyphus were said to have persuaded Proserpina to help them escape, and Aeneas was guided to the exit. The problem is, those are the stories of a poet, a self-aggrandizing king, and a brawler about their own heroic deeds, so they should be taken with a grain of salt. First, Proserpina. What we do know about her is, well, it's a grim tale. It's said the god of the underworld abducted and dragged her here against her will, forcing her into marriage.
Bueno. Es un poquito, si no recuerdo mal, Zeus le dio permiso y en la antigua Grecia la mujer no tenía ni voz ni voto. Así que o estaba era propiedad de su padre o era propiedad de su marido. Entonces Zeus, que era su padre, le dio permiso a Hades. Aparte, Hades creo que fue buen esposo con ella. Aunque ya no tanto.
It is. The gods are a mirror image of mankind. As far as cruel.
Y Hades era el bueno, de los tres era el bueno.
I imagine she's as desperate to escape as we are. If she really did help Orpheus and Sisyphus, perhaps she'll help us too. The problem is, how do we communicate with her without being noticed by her captor? Leaving that aside for a moment, there is also the possibility of a spirit guide. I don't suppose you've come across one of those in your travels? Truly? And you're only bringing this up now? Then again, I suppose you were worried I'd think you were as mad as Navia. Can you tell me more? Is it the same voice? What kinds of thing does it say? Fascinating. Perhaps she's a benevolent spirit. Or perhaps... Perhaps you're hearing the voice of Proserpina herself. If she has indeed been abducted, it would make sense for her to speak in cryptic whispers to avoid detection. Tell me, has she told you anything that might lead you to the way out? Truly? Then why are you still here?
¿Por qué te caminan a correr?
Ah, I see. Then it seems you have made a great sacrifice for all of us, friend. I admire your compassion. Truly. Thank you. But unfortunately, I'm afraid your only other option will be to confront you-know-who. All right. I would suggest not discussing this with anyone. The best we can do for them is to let them remain oblivious for as long as possible. As for Livia, it seems she's been shouldering the weight of this terrible secret all this time. Perhaps it would comfort her to know she's not alone.
Bueno, aquí simplemente se nada para eso.
In any case, time is of the essence, so you'd best begin. May Fortuna guide you. Although you may not need her with Proserpina on your side.
Tengo 3 arcos. ¿Tienen algunos balnearios de este tipo? Bueno, vamos a ver. Búscame. ¿Y dónde? Antes de nada le voy a cantar las 40 Fabio.
Shiny.
Sometimes I stare at the great temple on the bluff, and I think, whatever is in... Welcome back. Nice.
Si es que solo tienen denario. Espera, no he robado nada, ¿no? No.
That lamp! Never have I seen its equal.
Este es el egipcio.
Greetings, I'm Georgius. It glad... My friend, you're... And in a city full of Romans you are asking me? Because I am Greek. Let me tell you something about Greeks and Romans. My name is Georgios, yes. But the Romans, they do not care. They hear me say Georgios, and they think, ah, he must mean Georgius. Good Roman name. They do this all the time. They see us worshipping Zeus, they copy us, but call him Jupiter. They take Hades and call him Pluto, Persephone, Proserpine.
Esto es una clase de mitología
They
griega.
copy our ideas, but why must they change the names? Do they want credit for making it all up? Do they want to forget where it came from? At first, I pull my hair out. After a while, I give up, and I become Georgius the Roman. I accept the world is Roman. Yes, I have no hair
Me
like
caes
you.
de bien, Gorio.
But my point is this. If you want to know who stole an old Greek name, look no further than the sticky-fingered Romans. The plague you seek was pilfered from a collection of old Greek relics by none other than Duli. He cannot help it. Like a typical Roman, he likes shiny things, especially those that once belonged to my people. And besides, it makes him happy. So I say, let him keep it. I believe he still has it with him, in his cell.
¿Cuántos templos hay aquí?
The Temple of Demeter.
Gracias.
I hope that our paths cross again soon, my friend.
¿Dónde está Fabio? Una lista de... Villa de... Bueno, cosas que compré cuando haya escapado. Villa de Roma. Carruaje de 2 caballos. Puesto en el Senado. Carruaje de 4 caballos. 12 esclavas pálidas y turgentes. Me cago en la mar. Este tío es horrible. Vale, hay un momento en el que no sé para qué quiero tanto denario. Tengo un arco dorado.
How did you fit the fire in the tube? Hello?
¿Y este quién es?
My name's Dooley. I live here now because I got in trouble and
Pero esto no
they
rompe
said
la
they
regla
had
de él.
to lock me up. I don't know. I don't remember things so good. I think it's just because I was looking for treasure. Yes, but I wasn't. I was just looking. They said I did it more than once, but I can't remember things so good. Then they called me mean names. They called me a liar, Billy.
Me recuerda a Golu.
Yes. They said I have to live here now, and gave me this letter. But I'm not good with words. Do you think you could read it for me?
Carta de esencia de dolor. Del magistrado de San Dulio. Le escribo en referencia a ese comportamiento episodio, originado por su obsesión con un supuesto tesoro perdido. Aunque entiendo su situación y sé que su guardián Aníbal falleció hace semanas, quiero enviarle un mensaje importante. Ese tesoro que tanto buscan los sitios parece que no es capaz de sus problemas de memoria, y lo que es más, puesto que ya le han sorprendido más los aljibes a los cuales no puede acceder los ciudadanos, no he podido sino llegar a la conclusión de que usted es un peligro para esta seguridad, para que así no se incumpla la ley de oro. Espero que esta carta le ayude a recordar por qué está encarcelado, acaso que suba a más lazos de memoria.
What does it say?
Dice que te pillan colando.
My treasure.
En serio, este personaje está basado en Golu.
My friend Hannibal used to look after me. He said he always would. But then he died. It was very sad. He said if anything ever happened to him, I had to find something very precious hidden away. He gave me this key and made me promise to keep it safe until I found the treasure. But I couldn't find it. All I remember is he said something about the cisterns, but when I went up to the high one, they put me in here. Now nobody looks after me, except my friend Galerius and Ek, the priestess lady.
Si es que Galerio.
She's a nice lady.
Ah, Galerio es un santo.
Do you like it? It's shiny, innit? It makes me happy just looking at it. But if I gave it to you, then I wouldn't have it anymore, and I'd be sad. Well, if you get me out of here, then I wouldn't need it anymore because I'd already be happy. Then you could have it, and you'd be happy too. Galerius already tried that. He said the magistrate wouldn't listen, no matter what. Like, Galerius? He's nice. I like Galerius. He made me a doll and everything.
O sea que solo necesito convencer a todo el mundo de que...
Yeah, Galerius will let me out. Then you can have my plaque and everyone will be happy. You're going to let me out of here? Really? Galerius already tried that. He said the magistrate wouldn't listen, no matter what. What about the rules? I don't want everyone to get in trouble because I was bad. Like Galerius?
Vale.
Hannibal said it was in the cisterns. I can't remember what it was.
Tenía
just
mucho
that
valor.
it was way up high and very precious. Bye-bye. Hello. Have we... Gold? You mean... treasure? My friend Hannibal used to look after me. He
Vale.
said he always would.
Me
He
dice
said,
todo.
if anything, he gave me this key. All I remember is he's now nobody looks after me. My name's Dooley.
Vale.
Bye bye.
Vale, a ver, estos son los baños. ¿Y esto qué es? No se caerá, ¿no? Anda. Ajá, vaya, vaya, lo sé. Sin darme cuenta he conseguido encontrar Antiguamente, cuando el cristianismo estaba perseguido, los cultos se hacían en sitios como este, en unas pequeñas cuevas. Es más, los entierros que hay ahora no los hacían los cristianos de aquella época. Creo que el cuerpo, no me acuerdo qué hacía, lo incineraban y lo enterraban, lo metían en vasijas y lo enterraban. Vale. ¿Una lira? ¿Qué pasa? ¿Me voy a encontrar aquí a Nerón? Joder, ¿quién mantiene todas estas antorchas encendidas? Me cago en Dios, ¿pero qué es esto? ¿Cuántos túneles hay por aquí? Me parece que son...
You carry the gift of Prometheus in your hand. Remarkable.
Cállate, tú no eres... Tú no crees en estos dioses.
Welcome. May I ask your name?
Este es nuevo.
It's a sincere pleasure to meet you. Tell me, what brings you all the way down here? Then perhaps the fates brought you here to learn the secrets of this place. I will tell you everything I know, but first, a request. I have been living down here alone for many years, with nobody to talk to but myself. The one thing I long for above all else before I die is a good philosophical argument with somebody astute. I'm hoping that person is you. Let us find out with this simple question. Have you deduced the name of the god responsible for the Golden Rule?
Plutonio.
Excellent. I see you are indeed quite astute. Very few come to that realization before their time in the sun is over. Now, will you join me in a friendly Socratic dialogue? Wonderful. Then let me begin with a question. Would you say you know the difference between right and wrong? You are an overthinker too. We're the same then. It is probably why I became a philosopher. But if you struggle with right and wrong normally, then down here with the golden rule, surely your struggle can only have become more difficult. Well, that's reassuring. And the truth is, you're not alone. You see, out there in the world, being uncertain about right and wrong was acceptable, because our mistakes rarely had consequences. So we would tell lies and bend rules and turn a blind eye and rationalize, and yet still find a way to think of ourselves as good people. But under the golden rule, morality matters. The slightest wrongdoing could result in a mass execution. So to navigate this maze, we would have to be certain about the difference between right and wrong. Wouldn't you agree? That is an excellent question, and it leads directly to my next line of inquiry. So let me ask you this. Is there one system of morality which is always perfectly correct, which you could follow in every situation and always do the right thing?
No, creo que no.
Are you sure? Or is it possible that humans simply haven't figured out the right system yet? So is it up to each of us to decide what right and wrong mean to us individually? Or must we simply follow the laws and customs of whichever community we're in?
Donde vayas a lo que fuere. Espera aquí. Creo que debemos seguir las leyes y las costumbres de nuestro.
Ah, you know, I think you'd find an ally in Herodotus, a scribe from among my people who lived some 400 years ago. He told the story of a man named Darius, whose curiosity was piqued when he learned that a certain tribe had the practice of eating their dead. He asked some Greeks who burnt their dead, "What would it take for you to eat your dead?" Aghast, they replied, "Nothing." Then he asked the tribe who ate their dead, "What would it take for you to burn your dead?" "Nothing," they replied, equally aghast. From this, Herodotus concluded that custom is king, that right and wrong are merely local ideas which do not survive the journey from one tribe to another. I take it you're in agreement?
Sí.
Let me ask you this. If you visited a tribe where they ate each other, copulated with the dead and drank wine from cups made out of human skulls, would you still maintain that within such a tribe there is nothing wrong with such conduct?
Sí.
Disturbing. And while I do not agree with you, at least you would have the support of Herodotus. My point is this. I don't think anyone alive truly knows any hard and fast rules about right and wrong.
No sé dónde.
Surely you would agree there are circumstances where an exception may be made, such as where it is necessary for self-defense or to prevent a greater evil. For any rule, you can imagine there are countless situations in which that rule may be suspended, and those situations are impossible to codify. If there is one thing I have observed about rules, it is that virtuous people do not need them, and evil people will always find a way around them. And so we must accept our limitations, and the sad truth that no human society will ever achieve the utopia for which it strives. In mathematics, we would call it an asymptote, a line that can be approached but never reached. Because the only way to create a utopia is with the ever-present threat of force, such as the Golden Rule. This and no other is the root from which a tyrant springs when he first appears as a protector. And life under tyranny is no utopia at all. I'm glad to hear that. In any case, thank you for humoring an old man. I would be happy to answer your questions.
Vale.
You mean, how did I end up living alone in this cave with nothing but these relics of the past for company? It's a long story.
Tengo tiempo.
I was a quarrelsome young man. At 19, I left Corinth for Rome to study rhetoric at one of her finest academies, so I could argue more forcefully. Back then, I used to enjoy verbally sparring with everyone I could, and I was good. One night I found myself in a tavern.
Mercenario borracho, escogiste a un mal contrincante.
It became heated. He drew a gladius, and I won the argument, but lost my life. I woke up on the banks of the Styx at a campfire opposite Karen. Of course, I tried to persuade her to let me return, but even with all my skill, I failed. I settled in, made friends, and learned what I could, quickly realizing our little community faced certain death under the Golden Rule. So I began looking for a place to hide underground. Fortunately, I found this place waiting for me. You see, I was not the first to take refuge here. I returned to my friends above, persuaded them to join me, and 12 of us descended for the last time to live out our days hidden from Hades' tyranny. They are one and the same. The Romans call him Pluto, but long before that, my people called him Hades.
Vale, esta pregunta es un poco estúpida.
My generation was wiped out, turned to gold, many years ago. My friends and I were able to avoid the same fate by hiding down here. I think it's safest to assume that if I was to return, Hades would realize that his furies hadn't finished the job, and he'd send them after me again. I fear that if you were to utter my name in the city, even by mistake, that Hades would hear you and know I am still alive. I'm afraid I am the only one left. There were 12 of us in the beginning, but one by one, my friends...
Espera, entonces este no está en el registro.
Some from malnutrition, others from madness and despair. It has been lonely. Before my unexpected visit from Kabash some weeks ago, I'd not seen another person in many, many years. Living in darkness is not without its challenges. The first challenge is diet. Fortunately, I found that eating fresh fish provides most of the nutrients I need. And sometimes, when there are Greek people living up above, I surface at night and salvage the offerings they've left in the temple of Demeter. The greater challenge is the isolation. So I like to imagine arguments, where I argue both sides. But, like so many things in life, arguments are better with a partner. As you wish. Ha! If I did, would I be living like this? Did we not discuss it at length already? Oh, I see. You're toying with me. Ha!
Bueno, por lo menos este sí que se acuerda.
You seek the plaque bearing the Egyptian inscription. It is a cursed object, and I would be happy to give it to you, if Kabash had not already taken it. I will tell you, but you may find him hostile. To prepare for your encounter, there are certain things you must know. Very few know this, but before the Romans came to this city, it was once entirely Greek. The architecture, the temples, and the people. When the Romans came, in typical fashion, they claimed it as their own, built over everything that could be built over,
Sobre lo que
the things that could
colonialismo puro y
Thus,
duro.
the shrine of Persephone became the shrine of Proserpine. And when they found an obelisk bearing the name Hades, they tore it off and replaced it with Pluto instead. and the city's dwindling Greek residents, witnessing this compulsive Roman conquest, decided to preserve what they could of their heritage. They gathered their art and valuables, secreted them away through the Temple of Demeter, and hid them here, out of reach of the Romans. However, there was one thing that always seemed out of place to me, and it is the very thing you seek. An even
Que hacía una placa egipcia aquí.
Inscription. We had no idea until years later, when the first of my friends began to die. As a result of their deaths, we began to dig catacombs branching off from this cavern to lay them to rest. We extended the tunnel so far that we accidentally discovered another, an even older tunnel, which somebody had gone to great lengths to keep hidden. Suddenly it made sense why there was an out-of-place Egyptian plaque among our people's possessions. You see, we proud Greeks had thought the Romans beasts.
Pero ellos hicieron lo mismo con los egipcios.
But it turns out this game has been going on much longer than any of us imagined. I think it is best you head through the catacombs and follow Kabash's trail. There are certain things you must see for yourself. Take this key. You'll need it to open the gate. I enjoyed our chat, but please, keep my presence here a secret, yes? Ah, you've returned.
No, todavía no me he ido. Pues ya empezaron a acabar.
You carry the gift of Prometheus in your hand. Remarkable.
Me gusta que reacciones.
You carry the gift of Prometheus in your hand. Remarkable.
Vale. Estos son zona de entre egipcio. Pues hay 2, 3. Este no lo ha enterrado. 4. Espera, hay 3 aquí, ¿no? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. O sea que ya había más gente. 6, 7, 8. 8. La arquitectura ha cambiado. ¿Ese sería otro de sus amigos? Dijo que tenían... Me faltan dos. Este sería uno. O sea, aquí ya no queda nada. Que mira, ya está todo. ¿Cuántas generaciones habrá? Qué susto me pego con mis propios pasos. Que me mato. Esto es un templo egipcio. Ya veo por qué dijo que... O sea, esto pero entonces ¿cuántas generaciones? Oye, que construir aquí cuesta bastante. Y es decir, ¿cuántas generaciones habrán estado aquí? Me cago en 10. ¿De dónde ha venido? Pues estos ni los entiendo. Genial. Otro. Parece que lo que llamaban lo que lo llamaban los griegos Hades, los romanos Plutón, los egipcios lo llamaban Anubis. El concepto de Dios de los muertos es desde hace mucho. O sea, las reglas se ha ido transcribiendo a lo largo de generaciones. Espera, esto está otro día.
Stop. Do not come any closer.
Este es Kappa.
Who are you? I am Kabash. Now, your turn. And let me guess. Another Greek or Roman come to loot and plunder the resting place of my ancestors, To what end? That is welcome news. You really are not Greek or Roman, are you? I was planning to return it myself, but for now, I must remain. Here, take it, and restore the honor of Osiris.
Bien, la primera.
Now, as for the other plan. Indeed, I have it right here.
¿Qué?
I stumbled across a collection of dusty curiosities while searching for a place to hide from the hungry children of Amit, and there it was. You may not. In fact, I am about to destroy it.
¿Qué?
Because it speaks a treacherous, blasphemous lie.
¿Y eso?
I will tell you, but first, do you know what this place is?
La Duat.
Indeed, and I see you know our history. This is the Duat. See what has become of it. I have been down here for weeks, piecing together its story. And here is what I have learned. As Egypt declined and the Greeks had their turn to flourish, their souls came here in great numbers. But instead of adopting our ways, they copied and corrupted them. When they found the obelisk bearing the name Osiris, the true god of the underworld, they desecrated it,
Bueno.
removing his name
Y
and
luego ellos
replacing
pusieron el
it
de
with
Plutón.
Hades. Even the ferryman of the dead, known to my people long before as Kerti, they renamed to Keron. As if that desecration was not enough, they built over this place, using it as the foundation for their own underworld, so that ours was forgotten. My only solace is that the Greeks then suffered the same fate when the Romans rose to power, renaming Hades to Pluto, and the cycle began anew. I am glad to hear it, which brings me to this other, fourth plaque. It is inscribed with a script I do not recognize, but it is ancient, almost as if it is older than the plaque bearing Osiris's name. But if that is so, it would imply the gods of Egypt are mere imitations too, copied and corrupted
Supongo que
from
serían
an
los
ancient
fenicios,
people who
minoicos o
prospered even
micenas.
before us, and that my people did to them what the Greeks and Romans did to us. But this, I cannot accept. I sense a deception. Perhaps it is the work of Set, the usurper, seeking to undermine Osiris once more.
Cuando se enteró que los cristianos es... ¿Qué dice?
You will never know. This work of sacrilege must be destroyed, thrown into the black abyss below in Osiris's name. You are too late. It is done. would plunge into the depths of the Duat with no way back up. Madness. If it will help you to see reason, then ask. I am from Rakotis, which you may know as Alexandria, the name of the city the Greeks built over it. I was a fisherman, like my father before me. Since the Romans had taken over from the Greeks, I took the opportunity to learn Latin, and eventually traveled.
Y fuiste escogido como esclavo,
When
¿verdad?
the fires broke out last year, I tried to help. I gathered terrified locals into my boat and led many of them to safety farther along the Tiber. On my 7th trip, the passenger demanded I wait for his brother. But we were full to almost sinking, and smoke was all around us. I told him his brother would have to save himself, and he tried to bribe me by placing a coin into my hand. When I
Este sí
refused,
que recuerda.
he drew a dagger and thrust it between my ribs. I awoke on the banks of the river to a stranger wearing a ram headdress. He said his name was Kirti, and at the time, I simply thought him odd. It did not dawn on me until much later that he was the Kirti, the ram-headed ferryman described in the Book of the Dead. This is where I belong, as caretaker of the memories of my people. If our ways are to be remembered, it falls to me. I think if someone is to break the golden rule, it will not be me, for I try to live as I always have by the command of the goddess Ma'at. Do to the doer to make him do. As for the punishment that will come from it, I finally understand why it has long been said among my people that gold is the skin of the gods.
Creo que este concepto lo usaron para la película de dioses de Egipto, solo que en lugar de piel de los dioses era sangre de los dioses.
I do not know. What could possibly lie beneath the underworld? Perhaps it is infinite darkness. Perhaps it is the lair of Amit, the devourer of souls. All I know is, it would be unwise to venture down there.
Pues yo me voy a tirar de cabeza.
Is everyone so contrary where you are from? Do not even consider it. Good. Be gone from this place. Wait. You are planning to go down there.
Pues sí.
I see it in your eyes. You would plunge into the depths of the Duat with no way back up. Madness. We shall see. That lamp, praise Lord.
Una placa sumeria. Nergal el Fiero. Me quedan. Vale, un pozo de un dios sumerio. Y aquí volvemos a ver el mismo. Joder. Esto es de... Las leones es como en la isla de Creta. Los minoicos... No, fueron los micenos, siempre los conjuntos. Creo que fueron los primeros en conquistar el Mediterráneo. Pero fueron los minoicos, cretenses y luego los fenicios. Después fueron los cartagineses, griegos, egipcios... No, egipcios, griegos y romanos. Espera. Intentaron bloquear las entradas. Voy a ponerlo en modo lesbade. Desconocido, presta atención a las últimas palabras de Nazcuzo. Sé testigo de las consecuencias que estamos sufriendo y llora por nosotros. Hicimos todo lo posible por vivir como querían los dioses. Plantamos y cosechamos juntos, compartimos pan y cerveza, aceptamos a los recién llegados con el brazo abierto como si fueran parte de la familia. Pero con cada recién llegado los vínculos de nuestra familia sufrieron y pronto nos convertimos en extraños para los demás. Y cuando esos vínculos terminaron por romperse, mis hermanos y hermanas ya no plantaban más que para sí mismos y comían y bebían solos. Y fue allí en ese espacio vacío que nos pecado. Los centinelas Nergal se han despertado y claman en nuestra. Joder. ¿Qué hace aquí una trampa así? Más. Otra barricada. Y curiosamente aquí no veo ninguno. A ver. ¿Y esto es trampa?
When I told you that you would not find a way back up, that was not a prediction. That was a promise. You will die here.
No hace falta que acabes con...
I disagree. I warned you against coming down here, against perpetuating this sacrilege. But you persisted. You have undermined and dishonored the true god of the underworld. How did you think this would end, if not with bloodshed? Very well, I will listen. But if I sense deception, or if you further insult my gods, I will carry out my threat. So tell me, why should I let you live after you salvaged this instrument of blasphemy?
Sin...
Why? To what end? But why? What business could you have with Osiris? Blasphemous fool! You have sealed your own fate.
Idiota.
Good. I welcome it. You see, the philosopher told me that each time it breaks, Osiris bellows with rage, and his voice shakes the very foundations of the earth. I can only hope one more tremor will lay waste to this fragile place once and for all, and you along with it.
The many shall suffer for the sins of the one.
Ahí está la lámpara. No, he ido para el lado contrario. No, me estoy perdiendo. Vale, por aquí. Creo que aquí ya estoy fuera de peligro. Yo he sobrevivido mucho, ¿no? O sea, es curioso que no esté. No, siguen habiendo eso. Pensaba que ya se habían calmado. El ermitaño sigue vivo. Pues esta vez yo... Bueno. Con esto tengo 3 placas. Ya regalo. Se va a romper la regla dentro de... Necesito que le digas a todo eso.
What? That's a big ask. But something tells me you're not kidding. All right, I'm gonna stick my neck out and believe you. But I doubt I'll be able to gather more than a handful of people.
Fear is proof of a degenerate mind.
Hey, you're not thinking about going into the cistern, are you? Well,
Vamos. ¿Qué distancia puede coger esto? Vamos a ver, ¿dónde? Antes de eso quiero coger las flechas. Aquí. ¿Dónde está? Ay. Joder, es que siempre me pierdo aquí. No, este sí. Joder, esto es pequeñísimo y ¿cómo me puedo perder con tanta facilidad? Aquí. Ay.
You. Who are you? Do you know you're here? Wait, what? How did you know? Wait, did you hear that? He's here. He must be coming in through the door behind me. You distract him. Stay right here and keep him talking while I look for something I can use.
Ya está aquí.
What did you do with Scintilla? Where is she? So that is how it's going to be. Oh well, this doesn't change anything for me. It's a shame, really. If you'd just done what you were supposed to, you'd have been looping through time forever until you gave up and killed yourself. Just like that soft-hearted pleb. You see, Mike, but he was a... And because I'd have...
Menos mal que te dejas saltarte la conversación.
Discovered my secret. So what? What are you going to do about it? Do you really think you can take on a Decurion with that flimsy little bow? Who? Scintilla? Where is she?
I'm right here, Father.
The many shall suffer for the sins of the one.
Come on, we have to go. The others should be right behind us. Hey, what's happening to you? That light, it's so bright.
A ver, creo que este es el final 1 o 3.
Really? God.
Pues eso, espera. Esto no me deja subir por aquí. Vale.
I'm gonna pause here for a moment. You go.
Mira, fíjate, solo tengo la linterna.
You're back. But you're alone. Oh, what a relief. Why don't you tell me?
Y digo,
Ah, I see. I thought you might. Well, now
¿qué
you know.
cojones?
I suppose you have questions. You can just call me Caroline if you like. I am sorry I wasn't completely honest with you when we first met. I do not enjoy deceiving people. Believe me, I do not. But I have learned, from 5,000 years of experience, that most people find comfort in familiarity, in gradual change, and coming to see the truth in their own time. That you died, of course. You were dead when I brought you here. My role, as the servant of the god of the underworld, has always been to assist the chosen to cross the threshold from the land of the living to the land of the dead. Usually, when people do not remember how they died, it is because they suffered a terrible trauma. Most souls would rather not remember. Ask yourself honestly, do you really want to know? As you wish. You were murdered. You were exploring an old tomb when you discovered a cache of forgotten relics, including 2 silver coins of ancient origin. Unfortunately, as you emerged into daylight, you were set upon by 2 thieves. A nearby hiker saw the scuffle break out and leapt to your aid, trying to help you recover your bounty. You both fought bravely, but your assailants were armed, and you were not. There was nothing you or your ally could have done. He died instantly at the scene, and you followed a few hours later. That man's name was Al Worth. You were each in possession of a sacred coin, called Karen's Opal by some, and so it was my duty to bring you here. Perhaps you have heard the tales of the Greeks and Romans burying their dead with a coin in their mouths, to pay the ferryman for passage across the river. Well, those stories contained a seed of truth, but not any coin would do. A long time ago, my master created 1,000 silver coins and had me distribute them across the world. My orders were simple. Whenever a person died in possession of a coin, I was to locate them and ferry them here. That is a question you would have to ask him, if that were still possible, in light of the path you have chosen. I am just his servant, doing his bidding. Only now, I find myself bereft of purpose. You see, the coins on you and Al were the last of the 1,000 in existence. There is nobody else to ferry here, nobody to keep you company. After 5,000 years, the underworld has finally run its course. I see no point in keeping you here, but I have to ask one thing, that you keep this to yourself. Look! Here comes Al now. Al! It's so good to see you.
You were gone so long, I thought I'd never see you again.
Kinda lost track of time in there. You wouldn't believe there was a tablet, supposedly, this my new friend here. I know how crazy.
Maybe not that crazy. That woman. I don't suppose her name was Scintilla?
How could you... What?
She left a tablet of her own. I stumbled across it while I was waiting here. I think she meant for you to read it. Here, take a look.
I don't know what became of you, or if you'll ever read this, but Octavia, Lucretia, Horatius, Equitia and I will never forget you, or what you did for us. It pains us that so many of our dear friends were not so fortunate, including Ulpius and Galerius, who heroically tried to rescue Dooley, but never made it back. But there is no point dwelling on what might have been. All we can do is take this gift you've given us, and try to show others the same compassion you showed us. We promise you that saving our lives was not for nothing. Scintilla.
Bueno, con esto se han salvado mucho más.
Sounds like you meant a lot to her. I'd love to hear your story, but first, you two look exhausted. Why don't you hop in my boat and rest while I ferry you back to civilization?
Sounds good to me.
And you? Are you ready to go home?
Este es el final 3. O sea, ahí mira, me salta un final. Te hubieras enfrentado al dios del inframundo. Vale, vamos. Vale, esta... Yo a ver un momento, voy a cargar esto, continuar como yo. A ver, vamos a ver si que se me carga en el punto en el que hago del looping. No, aquí no guardé. Es más, si hablo con ella.
Who are you?
Vale.
Do you know you're... We... What? I hate...
Vale. Pues voy a dejarlo aquí. La verdad es que hemos estado... No sé qué coño es comentarios. La verdad es que hemos avanzado bastante y hemos conseguido 2 finales. Y por lo que veo quedan otros 2. No sé cuál es el primer final, pero debe de ser sencillo. Así que bueno. Continuaremos. El viernes continuaremos a ver si conseguimos el 4º final. Que si no me equivoco es con la tablilla, con las 4 tablillas. Que de las cuales ya tengo 2. Así que bueno, venga. Chao. Adiós. Hasta el viernes.